Hey everyone, I hope y'all are having a great day. I don't know if y'all feel this, but sometimes I get these really intense book cravings or just like story cravings where I really want to consume a certain story. And it's kind of like food cravings where you're like, wow, I really could use some pizza right now. I really need some ice cream, whatever it is. I really expose my unhealthy eating habits. But I also really feel that way about stories. Usually it's like 2005 Pride and Prejudice, which is probably like my most rewatched film at this point. But sometimes it's books I haven't read in ages. Like this past summer, I suddenly really wanted to reread Percy Jackson and the Olympians, like the original book series. And so I read The Lightning Thief and the Sea of Monsters. And I made a video about it and I called it like Revisiting Childhood Favorites or something like that. This is kind of like a second video in that installment. I came back from spring break during the one day that I had on Vanderbilt's campus before they evicted us. And I came back for some reason really wanting to read The Winter's Curse by Marie Rutkoski. You know, luckily or maybe unluckily, I was shipped back to Texas and suddenly I had access, you know, to the entire trilogy. And so I just spent the last week rereading this series and it holds up so much. I love these books. I can't name the number of videos that I've talked about these books in. I want to say it's a lot. I want to say I talk a lot about how much I love this series, but I don't know if that's necessarily true, which is why I'm making this video, because I really need people to know that if you like YA, if you like fantasy, if you like politics, if you like romance, I don't know how you could read this and not love it. I just love this series so much. And I think Marie Rutkoski in particular is just such a good writer. Like had this story been in the hands of a less capable writer, it would have gone so badly because it's about very risque territory. It's basically about one people enslaving another people, and it's based off of like the Romans enslaving the Greeks. I don't know history. That's not one of my strengths. Marie Rutkoski, she's an intellectual. I'm pretty sure she has like a graduate degree from Harvard. She's currently an English professor at Brooklyn College, I think. She's a smart woman, and in her acknowledgements, which I guess I haven't read, or maybe I did and never remembered, in each acknowledgement of each installment, she talks about like her sources basically and what academic books she read in order to prepare to write that particular installment. So she handles such a weird concept so well. Like basically if I pitched it to you as like this young blonde teenager goes to a slave auction and purchases a slave, you would be like, this book is canceled. And I understand that. That's a proper gut response to something about this kind of material, but it's actually so good. This book like starts out feeling more like just a romance, I guess, and then halfway through it gets very political. This book, entirely political, and this book is all about war. This book is just a war book. To be frank, in my reread of it, it was very weird to me that I gave this and this 5 stars and I gave the second one 4 stars on Goodreads, because I thought this was a lot more enjoyable in the second read, and I think this was less enjoyable just because this one is really just about war. Like I feel like every other chapter is like a battle, and the thing about battles is like she doesn't write them in the way that like, you know, Suzanne Collins might or Brandon Sanderson might. She really just takes her time with it. So I feel like we're on the battlefield for so long, and I'm like, this fight is lasting forever, which I guess is maybe how war is. I'm not gonna pretend I know anything about that. I will say I'm not interested in war or the military or anything like that. So reading this one is definitely a very different experience than reading the other two. I want to let you know, I reread them and they were so good. And the thing is, it's been more than 4 years, I guess, since I read these, because this came out when I was a senior in high school and I'm a senior in college. And what's really funny about this book is that when I made my review for it, I meant to include these vlog clips of me getting this book early, like before its release date, because I saw somebody on Twitter had it already. And I was like, oh my God, some bookstores are already putting it on the shelves. So I have this vlog footage that I found on my phone of me 4 years ago trying to get this book, and I never included it in my actual review. So maybe I'll include it in this video. It'll be like a little bit of a throwback. You can see what I looked like 4 years ago. Hello friends, it is Easter Sunday and I am driving to Barnes & Noble. I'm doing this because apparently some people have been getting The Winter's Kiss early, and like some Barnes & Nobles are just putting the book out early, and there's no way that I'm waiting till Tuesday to read that book if it's already out and if I can already get it. So I'm driving. I literally rolled out of bed like an hour ago and I have no makeup on and I'm literally wearing my pajamas. But I mean, I'm just hoping that it's open and I'm hoping that it's there and I'm hoping that I can read it ASAP. Hello, an update. I have arrived. Hopefully The Winner's Kiss is out and I can just grab it and go because I don't want people to see me like this. I say as I film a video that I will post on the internet. Okay, goodbye! Oh my god, it's wrapped. I have it. It's in my hands. I'm not left out. God bless. Oh my god. I have it. I have it in my hands, and the next clip will hopefully be my review because I will have finished reading the conclusion to this incredible series. Okay, see you then. Bye. Wow, Sophia was very dedicated. So it's been 4 years since I read this because this came out in March of 2016. It's been more than 4 years, I guess, since I read these. And I would assume that your ability to define your taste or your ability to find value in art changes over the span of 4 years, especially I think the 4 years that you spend in college. I just think college is a really, really formative time, at least for me. But even so, even after experiencing whatever transformation I've undergone throughout college, these books, they really still hold up. They're so good. And Marie Rutkoski, I've always loved her writing so much, but even more so now, I envy it so much. She is such an excellent writer. I'm currently enrolled in a fiction workshop, although now it's online. And when I'm writing short stories for class, rereading The Winter's Curse inspired my latest short story because I love the way she writes about Kestrel playing the piano. I'm gonna say Marie Rutkoski's writing style really, really inspires me and my writing style, and it actually hinders me almost because when I sit down to write a short story for class, I'm like, God, I just know Marie could write this so much better than I could. And I'm really trying to emulate the things that I admire about her writing, but I'm just so clearly not as good as she is. I love, love, love the writing in this. I love the characters. I love the strategy. I love that it's a really brainy book. It's like very intellectual. I think the characters are really intellectual. They're all about strategy and being cunning. The main characters in these books are kind of like variations of Kaz Brekker in Six of Crows, you know, where they're like very, very good about planning things in advance. But the thing is, in Kaz, it almost feels a little bit unbelievable, whereas in these, it never does, just because it's evidenced so well throughout what's included in the pages. It's so good. It's so good that I had to sit down and film this video about how if you haven't read these books yet, you should read them. They're just so enjoyable and they're so well written, and I think she handles touchy topics really, really gracefully. I'm trying to think about what I thought about these books when I first read them versus how I think about them now as like a 22-year-old. And what's really sad for me in particular is that when I go back to watch reviews, for example, for like The Winter's Crime or The Winter's Kiss, I look back at my younger self and I think, why have I deteriorated in my speaking ability? I feel like my younger self was more eloquent than my current self, which is a very, very, very sad realization. But it's very interesting to go back and see my thoughts on it because I'm like, yeah, no, that's still exactly what I think. I'm very consistent, I guess. I think the biggest difference is that in my reread, this was a little less fun for me just because I felt like it was such a wartime book. I'm not that interested in being on the battlefield in scene for many chapters. But yeah, it is an excellent conclusion and I think they're so good. They're so good. I really want more people to love and rave about them. When I look at Goodreads, they seem like decently popular books. Like they have tens of thousands of ratings, but I do feel like they don't get enough love on BookTube. So here I am, loving on them, making sure that I say at least 15 times like you need to read these books. I guess one silver lining about all this coronavirus chaos and like the fact that I'm not able to complete my senior year on campus is that at home I have access to my book collection and there's some really awesome gems on my shelves. Like these, basically. It's just fun to revisit. Obviously, it's not as big of a gap in age as The Lightning Thief, but I think I'm gonna reread The Hunger Games pretty soon, which I read in middle school, so that should be pretty interesting. Thanks so much for watching. If you read this series, I wanna know, did you love it as much as I did? Do you think I'm like exaggerating how good these books are? And if you haven't read them, how can I convince you to read them? They're just so good. But yes, thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll have a fantastic day and happy reading. Bye.